Yeah. Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk is officially postponed. All right. Um, According to Michael Benson on Twitter, Tyson Fury suffered a cut while sparring, which requires stitches. Oleksandr Usyk is going to fight his IBF mandatory Filip Hrgovic, or at least they're working on that. Let me ask you, before I begin my rant, let me ask you guys, how many of you really believed that this fight was going to happen? Just be honest in the comments. I mean, I know a few weeks ago I made a video and I was saying, if this fight happens, it was because I did forget that the press conference did take place, right? But me, weeks ago, I made a video and I basically said, if Fury and Usyk happens, because I never believed it was going to happen. I don't care what the reasoning behind it being canceled or just them moving forward. I never believed that for 1 second that this fight was going to happen. I don't care if the cut is real or not. I knew something was going to disrupt this fight. There's nothing about February 17th that made me feel that the fight was actually going to happen. There's been hardly any buildup. The only buildup that we saw is Jai Opetaia rumored to be kicking his ass in sparring for 5 rounds. It is what it is, y'all. The guy has a history of being, like, when you have a history of causing havoc, fights not happening, you leaving the game, you're coming back, it's just always an issue when it comes to Tyson Fury. But it's never an issue when he's cherry picking. When he picks an opponent that no one wants to see him fight, everything works out smooth. But when it comes to Anthony Joshua or Oleksandr Usyk, I don't want to fight this guy. Oh, I need a deadline, unrealistic deadline. I need to know by the end of the day. Give me a few hours. Or I want $500 million in order to take this fight. I don't want to be undisputed. I don't want to fight a middleweight. It's always some shit, man. It's always something. This guy alone, he's a cherry picker. He fought Derek Chisora for a 3rd time. Nobody asked for it. The guy is a scary man. He's a talented fighter, but he's scary. He's shaky. Anytime he thinks that there's a possibility that he might lose a fight, he's not going to jump on it. He is a cherry picker. Him and Wilder cherry picked themselves, even back in the day. I remember making a video back in the day. I think it was when David Haye, the fight with David Haye, I think like 2 times the fight didn't happen. What did he do? He was supposed to fight Alexander Usyk or whatever that guy named. They went to the weigh-in. The guy showed up at the weigh-in in shape. Look that up. I'll never forget it. The guy showed up at the weigh-in in shape and Fury pulled out of the fight. The guy is shaky. He wants to know in his mind that it's a guaranteed win. And now he's facing someone that he's not sure he can beat. He's coming off of a fight against an MMA fighter that's never boxed before and got knocked on his ass. Barely won the fight. Barely won the fight. Now you fighting someone for real. Of course he gets cut. Of course the fight is postponed. He needs some more time. He needs more time. And if this guy Usyk fights Filip Hrgovic, and I have Usyk, if he fights Filip, I would tell you now, I would probably still be leaning towards Usyk to win that fight. But Hrgovic is not an easy opponent. That's a very dangerous fight for Usyk right now. But it's well deserved. I mean, Hrgovic has been ducked for how long? There was at one point where like 8 ranked fighters in a row ducked him. He's the IBF man, though. There's a lot of fighters that did not want to fight him. He deserves a shot. I think the one thing I'm pissed off, it's not that this fight isn't happening, because I want undisputed whoever has it. It doesn't have to be Tyson Fury. I just get pissed off because he's holding the WBC title hostage. You're holding it hostage, man. You know, you're fighting guys at the right time. You want to be sure. The way you move is like you don't conduct yourself like, I mean, listen, he says to himself, he doesn't care about being undisputed. If he keeps saying it, you got to believe it. Like at this point, who is even making this argument at this point? The guy does not want to be great. He doesn't. He doesn't want to be great. He's no different from these guys. Listen, legacy-wise, it's about the money. And taking the least dangerous fights while making it. He's no different from a lot of other fighters that are ducking smoke and taking the easier route. He doesn't feel like the risk in this fight is worth the reward, whatever the reward is. He wants to stay undefeated he's trying to stay as undefeated as long as he can. He doesn't feel like this fight, he's never felt like this fight was worth it. Not even for undisputed. He doesn't care about that shit. He's never cared about that shit. I think it's over. I think it's over. I don't think Fury ever really wanted this fight to begin with. I don't know what's going to happen with Usyk and Hrgovic, but I just think it's over. Even if that happens, whether that fight happens or not, that guy is holding that belt hostage. And he's causing whoever the champion, even if it was AJ that won against Usyk, he is disrupting history being made. Him. It's always a problem. Even if the cut is real. Even if the cut is real, it's always some bullshit. There's always some bullshit. You know, if you had fought him back in 2022 or early 2023, we wouldn't have had this issue. If you wasn't out here fighting journeymen for a third time, or if you weren't out here fighting MMA fighters, we would have had this fight on already. You single-handedly holding everything up. You're holding everything up. I don't get it. I never thought this fight was going to happen. You know, and then it's crazy because these fans will sit here and tell you when fighters are holding up fights, there's people that are fighting for legacy that really want it. And when you are holding a belt hostage and they allow you to do it because they already know that you generate more money, it's disrupting things. It's like the Jermall Charlo situation. Carlos Adames won a fight for the title, but because you're not fighting and the WBC is allowing you to hold up the belt, nothing happens. Nothing gets made. You're holding up legacies of other fighters. Carlos Adames wants to be a champion, but he can't because the WBC is allowing Jermall to have as much time with the belt, not fighting, defending for the title, as long as he wants to. Same thing with Jamel at 154. Yo, do what you want to do. Go up in weight. But we got to continue this at the division. We got to let the next guy get the fight. If you don't want to fight, give up the title. Don't hold it hostage. How are people going to be champions if the title holders are not defending the titles? You know what I mean? Like, if you want to just brag about being lineal champion, all right, cool. Be lineal. Pass up the belt and let the guys that want to be undisputed fight for it. Give it up. You're holding the belt hostage, man. Derek Chisora for a third time, and Francis Ngannou. I mean, Ngannou did his thing, but that wasn't supposed to be the plan. The plan was to fight Usyk. You made Ngannou hot in boxing because you underperformed. You should have been fighting the other real champion. Instead, you cherry picked again, and it was another cherry pick that went wrong. And we know that Fury is doing everything he can in his career to avoid those cherry picks gone wrong. He's a cherry picker. He's a joke. And he's part of the reason why we won't have an undisputed champion. As long as he's holding on to that title, we're not going to get one. Because this guy is praying, hoping that someone beats Usyk before he gets to him. He doesn't want to take this fight. And he said it so many times. How many more times you got to hear it? Anyway, it's disappointing news. But, look, the sport got to move on. And this just goes and prove that, you know what? Saudi, in a way, is saving boxing in a lot of ways. But, some certain fighters not even their money can save. Certain fighters, even their money is not going to help. It's not going to be enough. It's never going to be enough. This guy is really, really stinking up the heavyweight division. Seriously. He is so scared to lose. He is. He is so scared. All right. I spoke on the Jai Opetaia thing, and again, my stance was I didn't know what the truth is. No one knows what the real truth is on why he only flew out there, flew that far to fight for 5 rounds. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I know they said there was a lack of orthodox sparring partners there, but why go that far just for 5 rounds? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to most people. Maybe something did happen. Maybe he did crush Fury in sparring. I mean, I don't think Jai is a type of fighter that, especially as while he's preparing for a fight himself, would go in there and take it easy on anyone. I wouldn't expect that. I mean, right now, I think he's probably one of the most vicious fighters in all of the sport. He's not here to make friends. He's not there to cool out and chill out and be fun and friendly with anyone. So I believe that is a possibility that these rumors are true. Maybe they are true. Maybe they're not. Maybe it was just 5 rounds and that was it. But I can tell you right now, Fury, I don't think he wants any parts with this guy, Usyk. And I think there's a high chance that Jai Opetaia might have reminded him how much trouble he may have in this upcoming fight. Because as explosive as Jai is and good as he is, I don't think he has Usyk's IQ. I don't think he's on that level of IQ. I think he's very good. And he might be a good champion as a heavyweight at some point. But Usyk's IQ is on a different level, in my opinion. He might not be the KO artist that Jai is, but his IQ is greater. And his experience is greater. If you're getting slapped around in sparring, maybe that's a sign. You're getting slapped around in sparring. You're getting knocked down by MMA fighters, barely edging a win. Maybe it's a good time to get cut. Maybe it's a good time to get cut. All right. It's a joke, but you know what? It's nothing that we're used to. We're not used to. We're used to it, especially when it comes to Tyson Fury. There's always going to be a problem. It's always drama. His whole career is just full of drama. Canceled fights, cherry picks, PEDs. There's always an issue. There's always an issue when it comes to Tyson Fury. There's always an issue. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, I'm out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like I said, did you guys believe this fight was really gonna happen? I didn't. I was waiting for the weigh-in, maybe. Maybe at the weigh-in I would have believed it. All right, but I just never really fully believed that this fight was going down. And to be honest, I don't even think it's getting promoted that well. I think there's a lot of other fights that people are talking about in boxing more than this one. It just didn't feel like it was real. It's just a feeling. I'm not basing it on anything. I'm just basing it off a feeling. And I didn't feel like this fight was ever gonna take place. It didn't feel like the air didn't feel like a heavyweight undisputed fight was coming up. You know? Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel. I'm out.